Hello everyone, my name is Protesilaos, also known as Prot. In this video I want to cover the latest developments in Denote, the package for Emacs. We are working on version 2.1 of Denote. This is the current development target, and I expect to publish the new version sometime within this month. I don't know exactly when, but it will depend on my availability and on if I consider the features that are currently in development to be stable enough for a wide release. What I want to show you here is some of the headline features. They do not cover everything because, as you can already see from the log that I have over here, this is quite long. There is a lot going on, but I want to nevertheless show you the essentials for users, at least for ordinary users. Of course, the manual of Denote covers everything in depth, including for developers. The manual is 35,000 words long, so there is definitely something for you to check there. And I just want to show you some of the basics here. What is Denote? Let's start with that because you may not be aware of it. Denote at its core is a file naming scheme. Let me show it to you rather than describe it. I will go to my actual directory with my videos, and you can see, let me make this full screen. You can see over here that we have files. These are video files, but it doesn't matter. Denote works with any file type. And what I am doing here, I am embedding as much information as possible in the file name. We will thus see that the file name here has this blue field, which is the timestamp, the moment this file was last modified in this case. Then we have the title, which is provided by the user, and keywords. It can be one or more. There is another field called the signature, which is not shown here, but I will show it to you as we proceed with this video. The idea with all this is that we can make searches in our file system to quickly find what we are looking for. For example, let's say that I want to find all my videos from 2023. Of course, I will use a search command here. It doesn't matter which one I use now. You can use this with any standard file manager or standard search tool. So I will just type in 2023. Let's assume now that I don't know anything about regular expressions to do something like this, like it starts with 2023. Let's assume that it is this, even if I get a few false positives, I am largely going in the right direction. So I did that, and I can see that the first one here is indeed from 2023, the one at the top. 2023 0109 means the 9th of January of this year, and actually then I see the time as well. 12:48 and 30 seconds was the last modified time when I made this file name. Now let's take it a step further, and let's say I am interested in videos that are about Emacs. So they have the keyword Emacs. I will again filter. Again, we assume no knowledge of regular expressions. I type the underscore and then Emacs. And as I do that, I get all the videos I have recorded this year related to Emacs. And this is basically the file naming scheme of Denote. Let me take it one step further, and let's say I am interested only in videos that have live, the word live, as part of their title, as part of the title that I provided. And this is how we narrow down, folks. Using the Denote file naming scheme, we narrow down to our files. It doesn't matter if you have 1 million files, you will always find what you are looking for without knowledge of advanced regular expressions without having to remember all the command line flags of some program like GNU find and that sort of thing. This is all done because of a low-tech, as it were, hack. And that has to do with how the file name is put together. We have delimiters, field delimiters, which are the double dashes, and then inside of the title we have single dashes. So the double dashes and then field components, the dashes, are for the title, and we see it here colored differently. And then double underscores, and then a field delimiter of underscore is for keywords. And for signatures, this is the equals sign. So if you do equals something, it is a signature. Dash something, it is the title. Underscore something, it is the keywords. And this way you can always find what you are looking for very, very quickly. Let's now go back to Denote. And of course, here is my complete list again. Let's go back to Denote here, and I want to tell you about this list over here. I have listed some of the headline features, and I want to cover them, and let's see how it goes. Note that these are part of the current development target, meaning that I may still make changes to them, and if you use them and you encounter any bugs or any breakage, this is part of development. I encourage you to contact me about these, and I will fix them as quickly as possible. You can also do it on the mailing list, and maybe somebody else will respond to your email as well. Of course, I will respond as well. Let's get to it. We have the denote link with signature. This is a new command, and I actually developed this command live. I think it was a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I'm not sure. So I did this live. It was actually a lot of work, but fundamentally it is a very simple command. Let's do this first. Let's go ahead and create a few nodes. I have a throwaway directory that I have created for this demo. And what I will do now is Emacs denote, the standard command of denote, which is to create new files. Because what I showed you earlier is the file naming scheme, but then of course we can use that to also create new files, new note files in this case, not just rename existing files such as video files. Rather, we can create new text files and then use those to maintain a knowledge base. So this is my video demo, and keywords, we can say denote, and then I will type the comma, and of course I can use completion here among the existing keywords or the known keywords. These are all configurable. And let's also use Emacs. When you insert the comma, it means one keyword, comma, another keyword. Let's do that. And so now I have a file. By default, this file is an org file, and I will just save it. It doesn't really matter what I have here, but this is my new note, just like that. And it has a unique identifier, which is the first field over there, and then it has the other parts of the file name, which help me find it, retrieve this information very quickly. Let's now create another file, and this one will have a signature. Emacs denote dash signature. Here it is, this command. Denote denote dash signature first prompts you for a signature, and this is an arbitrary string, and you can use signatures however you want to add structure to your notes, further structure, or to add some marker that helps it stand out. However you use the signature is up to you. Here I will just say hello, something like that. And a note with a signature. and this is, let's say, testing, just like that. And now I have another note. Note that when you are creating files with Denote, they are not saved automatically. You have to save it. It is just putting you in a buffer. So if you kill the buffer, the file is not written on disk ever, which is good because you want to have the freedom to just abort the operation. Let's go to, what did I do here? Let's go to the directory, and we see now what I mentioned earlier, that the signature is over there, hello, and it is delimited by the equals sign. Now let's return to this denote link with a signature feature that I mentioned here. What we want to do then is go to our first node and say this thought relates to, and then add a link to this other node that we have. But before I do that, I want to actually create a third node. Let me use denote type so that I can select the file type first. You can register any file type that is editable, of course, in Emacs. You can register it as a denote file type, for example, LaTeX or the Quarto, however it's called, the Markdown, whatever that is. Any file type that makes sense, HTML, whatever you want. And then you can create files this way with Denote. But for now, I will use plain text. And let's say a plain text note here. And this is about, let's see, you see, when I input some keywords, they then become available. So I will say testing, and let's also call this, I don't know, let's say demo, like this. And I have created another file here. Let me now go back to the previous file. We have three here. Let me go to this one. The reason I have created a third file is to show you the feature of this new command over here, which automatically narrows to only files that include a signature. Let me do denote, Emacs, denote, link with signature, just like that. And there is only one entry here, even though there are more entries in my denote directory. So I will link to this, and what it has done here is it has inserted the signature, which now happens to be an ordinary word, so it doesn't stand out. It has inserted the signature and then the title of the note. Of course, this is how we have developed it right now, but if anyone is using this, I am interested in your feedback. Like, what would you want to control here in this presentation? What would you want to change? Perhaps you want the signature to be delimited inside of something. Maybe you want to have, I don't know, the equal sign there to make it clear that this is a signature. What makes sense to you? But I am interested in actual user feedback, so not theoretical examples. This is the idea. This is different from how the standard linking facility works, namely the denote link command. The standard link, let's see that, Emacs denote dash link, and when we do that, we have access to all our nodes. And what I will do is I will link to this one again with the signature, but notice the difference now. Notice that there is no signature now in the anchor text, in the blue text. It's only the title of the node. And this is by design because we want to keep things simple and have a separation of concerns. The idea is that I want to make it purposeful. Like, when you want to link to something that has a signature and make that signature visible, it means that you have a good reason for it. It means that there is some workflow going on, and I want this to be encapsulated in a separate command rather than to make denote link a do what I mean command with lots of complexity. I think these very complex functions that take, 3 different prefix arguments, they never work in practice. Nobody can understand them, and nobody can deal with them. You have to waste your life on them, and I would rather do something else. So, separation of concerns. This is the idea with this, folks. Let's go to the next command, which is the denote region command. Here I copied an excerpt from the manual, but we don't need to read about it here. What matters is that there is this new command, denote region it is called, and in the manual I explain how you can make use of a hook it introduces. I explain what sort of hook this is. Please read the documentation. I am writing this manual for a reason, and it's not for me to improve my English. So please read it. But anyhow, the manual includes this sample code over here, and I will evaluate this code, and let's see what we can do. We have that, and let's evaluate this as well. And so let's say that I have this region here. This, come on. I am using a new package called Devil because I have injured my wrist. I don't know if you see it. And it's hard for me to type modifier keys. So how do I do control space now? Oh, sorry about this, folks. This? Okay. Oh, no. I did it right, but then I have to use the motion. Okay, like this. So I am marking a region of text, and now I will do Emacs denote region. Emacs denote dash region. And what will happen now, because I evaluated the hook, is that denote region will capture this region and will insert it into the new buffer. In addition, because I have this hook now with this function there, it will prompt me for an org structure template, a block, and so let's see it in action. Enter. I will give it a title and then keywords. My captured region. And let's say, what do we have here? We have the demo that I wrote earlier. And we have also the, denote again. Enter. And you see it inserted the region. And now it is waiting for me to also select the structure template, the org structure template. I can make this a source block. I can make this a quote, depending on the templates that you have. Okay, I will type Q now, and this has become a quote block, as you can see over here. This is the idea, folks, with this facility. Let's save it again. So let's go back here, and now we want to move to the next entry, which is the denote link after creating with command. And there is a typo here. The idea is that sometimes you are writing something and you want to create a link to a node that doesn't exist yet, meaning that you have the idea in mind of what you want to create. You have not expounded on it yet, but since you are already writing about something related, you want to establish the link right away. Let me show you here. For example, I am expounding on the virtues of Denote, the virtues of Denote, whatever, okay? And now I have this brilliant philosophical insight, and I want to say here what that insight is. So I want to do Emacs denote link after creating with command. The difference with, let me write it here, denote link after creating, like this. There is already a denote link after creating. The difference between this one and the new one is that the old one will create a node using the standard denote command, and this means that it will use whatever prompts you have configured by default. Whereas the denote link after creating with command, this one, will allow you to select the specific denote convenience function for this specific case. For example, normally I don't create nodes with signature, or normally I don't create nodes in a subdirectory, you know, but for this specific case I want to. So let's imagine that I will use the signature now. You are prompted for the denote command, and these are the convenience commands, which, by the way, are just 2-3 lines long maximum, each of them, the code. So it's easy for you to create your own convenience commands, but this is discussed in the manual. Denote signature, this is what I will pick now. So I am just using the standard denote signature command, and let's see what will happen. I will give it a signature now called sig, S-I-G, and now I will tell you about my brilliant new idea. And this is about denote, and let's say it is about philosophy, whatever. Okay, this is just a demo. So what I did, you see what I did? I have created this new node in the background. I have not visited yet. You see, I'm still here. And I have already created a link to it, even though I haven't done anything there yet. So I can now continue with my train of thought. This is the idea. So I don't have to break my flow. I know that this is something that will be interesting, so I put a link to it, but I don't actually switch my focus away from what I'm now doing. And this is, I think, very nice. And having the option to do it with any command you want is, I think, even more of an interesting use case. Let's save this. And let's now follow this link and see that it is a regular, Control C, Control O, and see that it is a regular file. This is the idea, folks. A regular denote file. There is nothing different about it. All we did was to create it and then link to it in one go. We could have done it otherwise. We could have done, you know, Emacs, let me be here, Emacs denote dash signature, and then, you know, some sig, like this, or let's say something. Let's have one word now. Another demo here, demo node here, and this is about Emacs, and it is about testing, and we create the node like this. We save it, then we go back here, and now we have to do Emacs denote link, or denote link with signature if we want to use that. Let's use that for now. Denote link with signature, and by the way, you see how it limits to signatures. And what I mentioned earlier about the features, the file naming of denote, you can also use in the mini buffer, of course, right? So if you type underscore and testing, you will only see those that have that. And if I type, for example, the equals sign and S, I am now matching something that has S in its signature, that starts with S as a signature. I am using vertical here with the orderless pattern matching scheme, the best combination, basically. So I do just that. You see the difference here. With one, we select the command and it creates a note in the background and it links to it automatically. The other is a more involved procedure, and you may lose focus in the process. So we provide both, and it's a matter of how you want to go about it. So there is that. Just to save this. It's not on my list here, but very quickly to cover this as well. just to, in case you don't know about Denote. When you are linking to a node from one node to another, you can generate a buffer that shows backlinks, meaning that when you are in this file, you can ask Denote which files in my Denote directory link to this file. And so you will do Emacs Denote-backlinks. Denote-backlinks, okay, over here. And you do that, and Denote will produce a new buffer. There it is, and it will include a list of all the files that link to this file. Let's go and create another link. So it's my brilliant new idea. Let's go here where we have my captured region, and here I will create a link to my brilliant idea, just like that. And we do that. Let's save it, and let's go back to this file, and let's now do the Denote backlinks again. And you see now we get to see the backlinks that are linking to this one. And of course we can click on one of these and follow it right away. This is the idea, folks. So Denote can do this as well very easily. Let's continue with the features, because there are quite a few of them. There is a new hook when you are creating a new command. And this hook is actually called when you invoke the Denote command. But note what I mentioned earlier. Let me go to the Denote directory. Let's go to denote.el, for example. Let's go to one of the convenience functions, for example, denote signature here. And this is the whole function, actually. And notice how small it is, okay? Like, if you exclude the documentation string, and if you exclude those declarations, okay, it's like 2 lines long, like 3 lines if you include the interactive specification. It's 3 lines long and the name. It's like that. And what it actually does, it locally, like for the purposes of this operation, it binds the user option denote prompts, which you can of course set to whatever you want. Read the manual again, okay? You can set this to whatever you want, and then call Denote with this, and then Denote will use these prompts in the given order you specify. So this is how we are creating those convenience functions, and same idea for the other ones, right? The Denote template, Denote subdirectory, etc. Back to what I am discussing now, which is this new hook, Denote after new note hook. The idea is that now you can write your own functions which will do something after you create a new node. What that is remains for you to be determined. I don't want to be prescriptive here. I don't want to write anything in the manual at this case. I am curious to see what the community does with this hook. And then at some point, I will record some examples in the manual. Of course, you can get an idea, some hints if you read the manual carefully, but for now, I will just leave this as it is. The idea is, when you are creating a new node with Denote, this hook will be called. This is the gist of it, okay? And then it's an ordinary hook. It doesn't give you any arguments, so you can do whatever you want with it. Next point. Next point, it is the letter casing of file names. And this is something I also wrote about on my website. The link is here. By the way, I will include this entire document on my website in the publication where the video will be posted. Below it will be this text. So if you are watching this on the video hosting platform, I will link to my website, to this specific entry. I will link to it from the description. So there is that. Let's now go into this. Denote file name letter casing. And let me copy this, and let's come here and let's check this out. This is a very interesting feature, I think, which controls the letter casing of the Denote file names. Let's take a quick look again at the Denote file names. Let's go to the Denote directory here, and you will notice that they are all lowercase. All are like that. All the fields are like this. And as I explained before, we have the identifier, we have the signature, we have the title, we have the keywords, okay? And what this new option gives you is the ability to control on a component by component basis the specific letter casing method that Denote will use. By default, everything is downcased, okay? But you can select the component you want here, title, signature, keywords, or T for everything, basically. I am not including the identifier in this because the identifiers are always immutable for our purposes. Of course, if you edit them by hand, then you are on your own, but Denote will not edit them for you. That is the idea. So the other components that are mutable, that you can do whatever you want with them. Here you can say that the method you want to use will be either downcase, or we have another option which is verbatim. And of course, as with everything I do, this is well documented. This is the documentation string, okay? This covers everything, and of course the manual covers this as well, and also provides an example. So let's go into that. Letter casing of file names. It will cover everything, and then towards the end it shows you an example. What is the idea here? Before I show you the example concretely, the idea is that while it is good to have everything lowercase because it is easier with searching, you don't have to account for change in letter casing, sometimes you really want to preserve the letter casing. For example, you really want your signature to be all caps, or you want to have camel case in your keywords because it has to be two words, you know, and you want to be able to see it like this. Let's then use this example here, which will treat the user input for signatures and keywords verbatim, meaning that it will take it as it is and it will not process it further. It will not downcase it. If you have all caps, it will use all caps. If you have lowercase, it will use lowercase. If you have camel case. If you are using my alt caps package and you do something like this and you have this result, it will use this. It uses whatever your heart desires. So let's put it to the test. I will evaluate this over here. And now let's go back to Denote. I will create a new node first with the Denote command, Emacs Denote. And then I will do one with the signature so that you see it as well. This title will be downcased. Okay. And then I want to have a camel case keyword over there. And I also want to have like denote demo like this, okay? Or rather, let's have it denote and then demo like this. Enter. And of course, in the front matter of the file, these are always preserved. But let's see the file name itself. Maybe I can enlarge this a little bit. And we see the camel case over there, okay? And we see denote and then demo all caps over here. Let's do the same with the denote signature command. And now the signature will be, let's say, hello, all caps now. And now the signature will be all uppercase like this. And then keywords, I will use alt caps here. I will use like this, alt caps for this one. And let's go, Oh, I canceled it. Sorry, I'm a bit clumsy with this new thing that I have. Anyway, provide signature. By the way, all the Denote prompts have their own mini buffer history, and this is wonderful because if you do meta p or meta n, you will get the last prompt. Okay, you will get the last value. And we do it like this. I do here, and then here again I have to, this is where I quit, so it doesn't know about the last value. And I will now save this. Very good. And let's see it here. And there we have it, folks. Let's go ahead and go back to which one? This one? Let's go here and use again this command that I did in the beginning. The denote link, denote link with signature. Okay. And now again we have the hello, all caps over there, and enter. And now remember where I told you that this inserts the signature. Now you see the signature all uppercase. So here it actually has a utility as well, because the signature is only recorded in the file name. So there is that, folks, which is all very good, all very nice. Let's move on to the next topic. But let me quickly tell you about the denote, the other command, which is denote open or create. Let's see it over here, because I mentioned the mini buffer histories earlier, and this is something that I feel people are not using as much as they could. The denote open or create command first prompts you for a file. Let's see here. And this prompt uses completion. And if it doesn't match anything here, it will then try to create a note with your search terms, with your input. People are telling me, hey, why don't you give me the input directly as the new title of the file? And my answer to that is because when you are searching, you don't write out the complete title. For example, I will write something like equals h and then underscore a, and then like this, blah, you know. I will do something like this. I do it all the time. Why do you want to have this as a title? You don't. So you will type enter here, confirm, and then Denote will ask you for a title. If, however, you want to have the title that you typed before, what you typed before, you do meta p, and there you have it. But I think this is not what you want. This is not what should happen automatically. It should be a manual intervention. And that's why I have it this way. And so now I will cancel this. But it is something that I mentioned here since I talked about mini buffer histories. Use them to your advantage. Same for the other features of the mini buffer, such as orderless. Use that. You don't need to type everything out the way you would do in prose. To the next topic, folks. And this topic is about handling encrypted node files properly. This was a very interesting case. Here I just mentioned the commit I made, the change I made, but let's go and see it. In Emacs, we can encrypt any file inside of the Emacs file manager, dread or dired, however you call it. I prefer dired. So let's come here. You can do this with the colon sign using the default key bindings, and then the letter E. And this will encrypt it, but I cannot actually show you because this will show some keys that I have, and I don't want to show them in the video. So let me go here and let me quickly do it inside of there. The idea is, let me go there inside of the notes, and the idea here is that I want to encrypt with this. Let me just do it very quickly. And okay, good. I think this does it. Okay, yeah, we have the GPG encrypted file over here. So you can encrypt the file with the colon sign and then the letter E. This is the idea. And of course, Emacs will prompt you for a key. You mark it, Control C, Control C, and that will encrypt it for you. So here is the idea. One of the features of Denote is its ability to rename files, and I already showed you this earlier with the video files that I rename using the Denote file naming scheme. When you are in a file here, this is now an encrypted file, but it's the same for all files. When you are in a file like this, there are lots of commands that can rename this file, such as the Denote rename file front matter, rename file using its front matter. Okay, you can use that, for example, or you can use the standard Denote rename file command. This one. There are commands that do renaming manually. There are also commands that do renaming automatically, and these are the Denote add keywords add, and so there is also the Denote keywords remove. Okay, and let me add a keyword here and you will see it, Denote keywords add. And when you invoke this command, you are appending keywords to the list of keywords over here. So I will add the Denote demo, and I will also add the camel case to this one. And I will now type enter. And what it has done now, it has appended the new keywords. We see them over here. It has renamed the new file. Let's see it over here. It has renamed the new file. You see how it was before and how it is now. One second, let me save this buffer because I don't want to see that over there. So this is how the file was before, okay? Let's imagine that it had the GPG extension over there. So it added the keywords and then it renamed the file so that the keywords are reflected in the file name. And then it encrypted the file again. So this is the idea, folks. And basically this case was not handled properly before. When Denote was renaming the file, it would keep the GPG encryption or the .age encryption, but it would remove the .org component or the .txt, .md, etc. So I have fixed this, and I am very happy with this new feature. I think it is wonderful. Just to say that Denote doesn't actually encrypt files for you. This is something that you will do on your own. And I think this is something that you have to do mindfully, because encryption is something that you must opt into, and you have a threat model in mind, and so you counter it. Anyhow, improved method of ensuring unique identifiers. I don't want to show this. It doesn't really matter. It is a technicality. I have explained it in the release notes of version 2.0, what the problem was. Namely that sometimes if you were touching files programmatically, they would all have the same title. And if you were to then rename them using Denote, they would all have the same identifier. And I made some changes to the effect that Denote would always create a unique identifier. What I did was okay, it was working, but Jean-Philippe provided an alternative method which is better and which I have merged into the Denote code base. So I just want to mention Jean-Philippe here for this contribution. There are other people who have contributed. I will go through the Git log and mention them before I conclude this video. And then I just want to briefly mention these. So I will not showcase them here. I will not demonstrate them here. There are two optional files. Let's go to Denote, the Denote directory. Two optional files, the Denote journal extras and Denote silo extras. Actually, those are optional as well, but these have existed before. So I want to only mention the new ones. These are optional files that you can load, and what these do is they provide more facilities, one for journaling, the other for working with silos. Journaling is, of course, when you are writing notes on a daily basis and you want to have a template and you want to maintain, a stream of consciousness going on a daily basis, perhaps. As for silos, it is a term that I use to describe standalone Denote directories that do not communicate with each other. All this is explained at length in the manual. The idea with those two is that we took some of the sample snippets that were in the manual and we turned them into fully fledged code, into fully fledged libraries. And so, for example, that Denote journal extras has some more user options. It has a keyword that you can give it. It has, a style if you want to follow a specific style of how you want your journal entries to be automatically renamed. And it has new commands as well. And as I said, this is all covered in the manual, everything. I don't leave things for people to just imagine they exist. I document everything. Let's go to the journal and we will see it here. Keep a journal or diary, and everything is covered here, folks. And you can read through this. Same idea with the silo. And we have of course, what are silos, and the custom commands for the silos, and of course this new thing, which again I document here. For the silos in particular, let me go to my Git very quickly here, and I have a stash. So there is something for the silos that I want to review and add there. So that is a work in progress, but I expect to have it merged for version 2.1 of Denote, which, as I said, will be released sometime this month. This is all for today, folks. In conclusion, Denote is a simple idea. It is a file naming scheme. And then based on this idea, we have a generic note-taking facility. You create notes with this new file naming scheme, and you can link between notes with this new file naming scheme. This is all there is to it. And then you can rename existing files. Any file can be renamed using the Denote file naming scheme. And you can also register file types for you to create new notes in. The default file types are org, plain text, markdown with YAML front matter, or markdown with TOML front matter. But of course, as I said, you can register your own. If you are interested in registering your own, but you don't know how to do it, please contact me and I will show you. I will write the code for you. I am happy to support more use cases and more workflows. Or we can document it in the manual, depending on how it is. That's all for today, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. Take care. Goodbye. Hello again, folks. Earlier I recorded a video where I was talking about the new features coming in version 2.1 of Denote. I was describing the headline features of the current development target. Of course, I didn't cover everything, but enough for you to see what is on the horizon, in the immediate future of Denote. Towards the end of the video, I said that I would also mention the people who have made contributions to this effort, but then I concluded the video and forgot to mention them. So I am recording this clip now to do that as I promised. Of course, I always do this in the release notes, but since I have it in video here, I think it also helps to have it here as well. The release notes, however, are always the source of truth in this regard. What I have here is the git commit log, and let's just quickly go through the names. Of course, I won't cover every single commit here, but probably I won't miss anything important as well. sometimes I am the one who is writing the actual code, but it is in response to a bug report or in response to a question or a proposal or something along those lines. In this case here, it's what I also covered in the video, which was about the encryption support. You will see it in that in the original clip I did here, and of course I explain what this is about, and then I am thankful to Jens for reporting the bug, because reporting bugs is actually an important contribution. Because when you report a bug, I can now gain insight into a workflow, and I can now see how the interaction of some functions works or doesn't work, and thus figure out what I need to change. So if you have something that doesn't seem to work right, or if you have a question or anything, never hesitate to contact me. I am always happy to hear from you, and then together we can work to improve the software that we are using. So thanks to Jens for this one. Let me see what we have. Here, Kostas Andreades. So thanks to Kostas as well. This is about the Denote journal extras files. I had a fix me in place. I had a note, a placeholder, to add the facility of prompting for a template when creating a new journal entry, automatically prompting for a template among journal related templates. And I had a fix me explaining what the idea was. And Kostas saw that and was like, hey, I saw this. Do you want me to send a patch because I think I have it? And I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Why not? So Kostas did just that, and I am thankful for it. Let me see what we have. Jean-Philippe, I mentioned Jean-Philippe already in the original clip, which is about unique identifiers. Of course, this is an important functionality. It is not user-facing in the sense that you don't directly interact with it, but it is something that is always there in the background. Alan Schmidt here. I don't actually remember what exactly this was about. Okay, so there was a regression. So in the original clip, I mentioned the what I did during a previous live stream, where I introduced the ability to link to files with a signature and include the signature in the description. Anyhow, the code that I wrote was, I think, high quality, all good in the sense of how I abstracted the denote link and the ancillary functions of it. But then there was one or two cases where I didn't see that I needed to, update the code to work, to continue to work. And Alan spotted those. And this is one case where this was done. So thanks for that. But I think there is another one somewhere else where I mention it, but I'm not sure now which one. So probably, no, maybe it is just that. So at any rate, Alan is active on the mailing list as well of Denote. So thanks for that. Let me see. Okay, this is mine. Let me see. Okay, this is a nice feature, by the way. I think this is it, folks. We have Vedang here. What Vedang was doing was a very nice initiative. It was to, we had lots of code snippets in the manual. So the manual of Denote is comprehensive and shows sample code for you to extend the Denote further. And Vedang was like, hey, why don't we put this in, in package format? Why don't we actually make this into a formal code that we support? And I was like, yeah, sure, since I already have it here, why not have it there? So we did that. Vedang put forward the original patches, and so we have the Denote journal extras and the Denote silo extras files, and I have iterated on them as well. But the idea is that now we are formally supporting these, and I encourage you to use the actual files rather than the examples in the manual. If you were using the examples in the manual, check the new files because probably they have you covered. But if something is missing, please let me know, and of course I will make it happen. So thanks to Vedang for that. Thanks to Noboru as well. Noboru has contributed many times to Denote. In this case, it was about the menu bar. Maybe I can show it here. Granted, this is the font is too small, but originally, so let me take a step back. In the previous version of Denote, version 2.0, I introduced a menu bar so that you can discover some of the main points of entry through the menu bar, by clicking here. And the context menu as well. If you use context menu mode, right click and you get to see Denote over there. The problem with the original implementation was that the Denote submenu was the first one. It was where you normally find file, this first menu. So Denote was there, which I didn't like, but I didn't know how to move it elsewhere and to do it in an elegant way. Noboru eventually found that, and we implemented it. It was a simple fix, but not obvious, and the documentation of that specific facility didn't help either. And this is one of the reasons why I am big on document stuff. It's not a secret. We have the code there. We might as well describe it for people who cannot go through the entire code base to find out how something is supposed to work. And Ivan here, thanks to Ivan, this was this was a refinement in one snippet where it was like not, that sort of thing, and improved it in that regard. I think changing the logic is better. It's cleaner this way, and it's nice that we had that as well. And Jean-Charles as well. This is about the letter T in the identifiers. If you are using Denote, the Denote diode mode, you will see that the letter T is grayed out, so it's easier. Let me actually show it to you. Let me go to my recordings. Okay, granted, maybe you don't see it because of the video, but anyhow, the idea is that the letter T is not the same as its context, and we do that because it's easier to read the date from the hour to tell those apart. And how did I do it? Okay, to tell those apart. This is the idea, so thanks to Jean-Charles for that. Jean-Charles has an open thread on the mailing list, and it's something that I wanted to do in my last live stream about Denote, but I haven't gotten around to, and maybe I will do it in the near future. And we have some more with Jean-Charles to consider for version 2.1 of Denote. But this is all there is to it, folks. I believe I am missing something now. I believe I fixed some other bug or responded to something else, documented something. I really don't remember now, but it's not intentional anyway. So hopefully it's nothing to be worried about, and I will anyway include it in the release notes of version 2.1. That's all for today, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. Take care. Goodbye.